Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
So how is
Is it evening for you?
it is? It's 10 p.m. for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You have already changed your time 1 hour
yes,
back.
we changed it on Saturday night. So yeah, we're usually just 1 or 2 weeks after you guys. I'm not sure why that is. Hopefully they changed it back. It used to be time change happened all the time, but during the Bush administration, they changed it where the U.S. was later than the Europe. So. But how has your 4 day weekend been going?
It's been very good. We had a little party a day ago on Sunday.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and yesterday I was fighting my hangover.
You were fighting on what?
Hangover.
Handover?
Hangover. When you drink and the next day you have kind of
Oh,
headache.
hangover. Okay, hangover. Yesterday I was fighting. Okay, I was actually what you would say is you are suffering from instead of fighting. You were suffering from a hangover.
Yeah. I
Okay.
had not drunk for a long time,
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. I, I've only had like 1 or 2 hangovers in my life because once I started getting them, I was like, this is not worth it. I'm not gonna do it.
yes, I think I won't drink for a long time now.
Uh-huh. Okay. Hi, Anatoly. How are you this morning?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. You're up early, aren't you? Isn't it 7 a.m.?
Now 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Okay. And so is it, Andre, is it 10 a.m. where you're at or 11?
11. We have 3 hours difference between Moscow and my city.
Yeah, I knew that. And for some reason, I thought for you it was 9 a.m. So I was like, so. So I still got I was still had guessed 2 hours, but so 8 a.m. So how has your long weekend been going, Anatoly?
Oh, it's going good, except maybe yesterday because the weather wasn't good. It was a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are expecting a good day, and probably I will continue my um, riding exercise on the bicycle. You can
Uh-huh.
see on my screen.
Yeah, it's
I, I, I took these pictures uh, before yesterday on Sunday.
yeah.
It
There's a
was
lot. It looks very beautiful.
thank you.
Andre, one time, Anatoly came into class, and he had his iPhone on, and he turned on the camera, and he's walking through the park. We got to um, see Moscow from his point of view. It was really cool.
Yeah, it is like excursion online.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. So, and what river is this?
This is a place on Moscow River. It is a center of Moscow, but it is a large green area for relax,
Mm-hmm.
for doing sport exercise.
Okay. Like we would call this right here, that's right next to the water, a green belt. And a green
Okay.
belt is basically a track goes next to the water for people to exercise and stuff like that with. So ride their bikes and stuff. So
Uh, by the way, I took a video. I participate also in the class. You can in Martin class, and during that session, and
uh-huh.
it was Martin class, and he proposed, you can see on my screen, it is a YouTube video. And the one idea appeared that it could be great if somebody take excursion, for example, about a place where a teacher live, because it is also possible now. You can see I'm walking and somebody is doing exercise, maybe this one.
Yeah.
Yes, you can see two people were riding on the bicycle, and somebody is jogging.
They would have to be the teacher that would do this would be somebody who is living in a big city that has really good internet connection on their smartphone, like you do. So, because I know that because I was thinking, wow, what a great idea! I could take you to the Idaho countryside, and I went, wait a minute, there's no Wi-Fi.
I use 4G LTE system. We have only 100 megabytes traffic in a day, and maybe after half hour of joint conversation with video, it could be cancelled.
Yeah. So it's only 100 megabytes a day? It's a daily limit?
Yes, daily limit.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm actually going to most likely be getting a, what do you call it? A tablet in the next couple days or next week or so. So I might be able to use my tablet for teaching, but I don't know. I don't think I will. So, but anyway, how are you, Aka?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. So is it like see about 2 o'clock right now?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm getting it right. Awesome. So awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start this discussion. The topic on this for this class is whose language is it anyway, and it's about language. And so, first question I have for you guys is the easiest for you to understand. So, Andre, what English accent is easiest for you to understand?
Of course, I understand British English and American English, but if to say about non-English speaking countries, I think people from the Philippines, they have quite good accent.
Really? You find them easy to understand?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
If I compare them with the people from India, for example, I have difficulty understanding them.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I have difficulty with the Filipino accent, but I also have difficulty with the Indian accent as well. So, how about you, Anatoly? What would you find is the easiest language to understand, easiest accent or dialect to understand?
I started my study in English with classical British pronunciation, and for me it was difficult when I the first time spoke with Native American people to understand their accent. For example, about numbers, not 40 and 40 like this. And but now I used to speak with Americans and it's easy enough for me. About foreigners who are speaking in English, I think I better understand when Arabic people pronounce English words. Maybe we have similar sounds. I don't know how tongue pronunciation. I don't know, but I can clearly understand what Arabic people said.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
people from Turkey and also from Japan. I clearly understand Aka, for example, Yuki, and I don't know, maybe if the person is trying to be understandable, it could be, I mean, for foreigners, not native, it could be understandable for everyone.
Yeah.
Pronounced clear.
Yeah. Well, just on at least I'll say for the Japanese, personally find the Japanese one of the easiest to understand, and I think that the Japanese students that I've had here at Verbling, like Aka and Heidi, they have a very clear pronunciation compared to other Japanese I've worked with. So, did you know? I've told you that before, haven't I, Aka?
Yes. I
Yeah.
try to reduce katakana.
But I also personally find that the Japanese very easy to understand, and I think it's because I've been working with Japanese speakers. I mean, Japanese native Japanese speakers for probably all along. So, because I've worked with a project in Japan since 2010. And so I think that might be another reason why. So, Alka, how about you? First of all, what English accent is easiest to understand, and also what nationality for non-native speakers are easiest for you to understand?
Yeah. For me, first I was familiar with American accent. My relatives and former relatives, so a lot of American TV show was broadcasting films here. So some sounds are very unfamiliar. Like all sounds sound to be like hot, yeah, water, and after that, I began to listen to BBC podcast. So I began to be familiar with British accent. So now I think Americans network standard accent and British RP, specific pronunciation, and probably I rarely see the Australian show, but probably TV English in Australia, I think it's easy to understand. But if the local people accented heavily in every nation, I cannot understand. It's very difficult to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. Go on.
And in terms of kind of non-native speaking English, after I began to participate online classes, I began to be familiar with a lot different style of English. So, but I think I can say maybe English ability and accent reduction abilities are somewhat related. So if the person reaches to some amount of level, generally they speak in a kind of global consensus accent. So such students are easy to understand whatever they live.
Okay, so you say that it isn't really the nationality, but it's individual people who have learned English to a certain level that they're able to concentrate on reducing their accent.
Or maybe some other things might kind of how can I say help to understand, or vocabulary or grammar or some other things.
Yeah.
If I cannot understand by the accent, but I can guess the meaning of something like that happening to my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Have I told you guys about my taxi driver friend in Finland?
No. No.
One of my really good friends in Finland, he owns a taxi company now, and but he lived in the States for like 7 or 8 years before I met him, and he worked was in Florida as a he was a flight instructor. So he taught people how to fly, and for some reason I don't know why he didn't get involved in flying much in Finland, but he's just started driving and just has continued that. But what I found really interesting is when my colleagues met him. These are British, my British and even American colleagues. They met him. And I remember several of them saying to me, "Man, Holly, he is the best English speaker I've met in Finland." And I would look at them and say, "Really?" Because he had a strong Finnish accent. He made all grammar mistakes. He made pronunciation mistakes. He made all kinds of mistakes. And I thought about it, and then I realized that the reason that so many people thought that his English was really good, especially not native speaking English teachers, was because he had all this confidence. He was just a really confident speaker of English, and I have always thought that. One of the keys for language learning is confidence. Confidence, because I used to actually practice. I used to listen to him, and I probably find a language mistake every 3 minutes. And I was really good at that at one time. I'm completely out of practice, so I'm. In a couple more years, I'll get back into that. But I used to really be able to find mistakes with him, and if you're listening for it, you can probably find it. But I found it very interesting that everybody said he had the best English, because you guys have better English than he does. so I thought it was funny. So
I want to say a few words about confidence. I had a chance to talk to one guy from Pakistan, and he felt confident speaking English, but honestly, I had no idea what he was talking about.
That happens too, and stuff like that. That happens as well, where someone's a little bit overconfident with their ability, and it's not very good. Hi, Igor. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, Igor.
Can you hear me now?
So it looks like this is a Russian-Japanese class, I guess. And so, Igor, in your opinion, what English accent or dialect is the easiest for you to understand?
American English.
American English is easiest. Okay. And how about non-native speakers?
Well, it depends. If they're from some kind of European country, then I can usually understand them. But when they're from Asian countries, like Chinese or Japanese, sorry, Aka, but it's really hard to keep up with them.
How really? So can you understand Aka?
Well, Aka is great in this regard, but there are a couple of students, they use glottal stops for vowels. So you think like, it's really confusing. It's like a word is chopped away, chopped off in the middle of a word, and then it all becomes like a blur.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So would you say a lot of Asians for you are also the most difficult people for you to understand when you listen to English?
Yes.
Okay, so Aka, what would you find would be the most difficult? Of course, I don't think what type of speaker is the most difficult for you to understand?
What type of kind of speaker who has a heavy local accent?
Uh-huh.
Uh, non-native speaker, non-native speakers,
Uh-huh.
yeah, whoever.
Yeah.
Speaker who has a strong local accent.
Mm-hmm.
Probably difficult to understand.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed with some of the students that I've worked with here in Verbling, and I think with a couple other places, is if they have a really strong accent, they're trying to be fluent in English because they have a lot of real knowledge. If they slow down, all of a sudden that accent is not as strong. And I've noticed that with people. And
I'm sure pretty difficult to understand.
Who, you? No,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're totally fine. All four of you are very fine. Are very easy to understand.
A lot of students can't understand me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like role plays. When there are role plays, I keep talking and they, sorry, what? Can you write it? Something like that.
Okay. Do you do a lot of role plays in classes?
Well, yeah, I've had quite a few of them.
You guys like role plays?
I like them.
Do you like them? Okay. Do you like them, Anatoly?
Which?
Role plays.
Role plays are the way for studying English?
Yeah. Do you like role plays in English class?
Not always.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Andre? Do you like role plays in English class?
Yes, I think it is nice. It is a way to practice your English.
Okay. And do you like them, Aka?
I don't like it.
Okay, you don't like it. So it's interesting because I would say a majority of my students in Finland did not like role plays. They had to be a certain type of role play, and so I actually got out of the habit of doing role plays. And if you've noticed when you've taken my other classes, if there's a role play on the worksheet, I'll skip over it. And that's the reason, because I've had so many people tell me how much they hate them. So maybe I'll do a few more because it looks like it's a 50% here.
You know, I think the people who don't like role playing, they like, they don't like pushing themselves.
Oh, really? Is that it?
It's like, when you're not good at speaking a foreign language, there is some kind of block in your brain that doesn't allow you to speak it. It's like you're trying to speak, but there is some kind of a block, and you're constantly, trying to think over words, and you stop a lot, you stutter a lot, and this is really confusing. And this is the most important feeling to overcome to be able to speak another language.
Yeah.
So I think that's why role plays are really great practice for that.
Yeah. I think, I don't skip. I have done role plays. Don't get me wrong. I don't. It's not that I don't do them, because I'm just remembering some that I used to do all the time. But I have been skipping them in the Verbling classes.
I like free talking much more than that, because role plays are a bit unnatural to play the role. I cannot speak English in my own way. I have to play a role. I don't like such situation.
Yeah.
For free talking, I like that very much.
Yeah.
I don't like role play. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway,
it's interesting, and it has to do with different whatever. What do you call it? Learning styles and to learning and motivation and so forth. So let's look at these vocabulary words. These are actually quite, what do you call it, quite challenging words. So do you guys know all of these words? We've got lingua franca, Anglo-Saxon, influence, to emerge, widespread, phenomenon, and cross-cultural.
I know all of them.
Oh, good. Does everybody else know them all?
I don't know the first. Lingua franca.
Lingua franca. Okay. Okay. Aka and Anatoly, do you know all of them except for lingua franca?
I heard of lingua franca, but I forgot the exact meaning of it. Maybe
Okay.
kind of global something.
Yeah. Well, lingua franca has to do with language, and it's a linguistics term, and a lot of linguists and language teachers and so forth use that word. But it has to do really with the language that is used to communicate between. For example, in the Philippines, for example, they not only speak English, but they speak Portuguese and Tagalog and a few other dialects and so forth. But their lingua franca is English. And in India, it's the same. They have have Tamil, and I can't even think of all the different languages they have in India. But English is their lingua franca, the one that they use for business and commerce. So that's what that means. So, is that how you would describe it, Igor?
Yeah, it's like some kind of a shared language.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So and it's not really used in a country like the United States. There's really one language that is pretty much used by everybody. So, even though, do you guys know the official language of the United States?
I remember you told us that there is no official language in the United States.
Yeah, the United States has no official language. So if you guys go to the United States and you get into trouble with the law, or you get sick and you end up in the hospital, and you don't want, and you're sick enough, for example, that you do not want to have to deal with speaking English, you can ask for a translator, and they are an interpreter, and they have to get one. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and do this matching. So lingua franca. No, let's do it this way. Aka, could you choose a word and we'll match it to the
lingua franca, a common or shared language used for communication.
Yes. Yes. And I'm just gonna. Okay, bear with me. I realized I hadn't written on this one yet. So, okay, common or shared language used for communication. Okay, so Anglo-Saxon then, Anatoly.
Anglo-Saxon,
What is that?
Old English.
Old English. Old English, yes. Okay. So Old English is, bear with me, I'm trying something different. Not working. So Old English, okay, and what is influence as a noun? So
Hello? Hello?
Andre?
Did you ask me?
Yeah, you doing okay?
I didn't hear anything actually.
Okay.
Okay. Influence. Include, blend, or merge with.
No.
No.
You can choose another word if you'd like.
Maybe it was merge. Include, blend, and merge with.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Emerge. the word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Emerge. Okay, emerge is what?
Include, blend, and merge with.
Okay, emerge is. I can't hear you. I'm having a hard time.
Include, blend, and or merge with. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. Okay, I heard emerge. Okay, so we got that one. But what did you say on this one?
Actually, I'm confused. I don't know.
Okay, include. Oh, you're doing include, blend, or merge with this one.
Yes.
Okay, this bottom. No, that would not be the correct one. Anybody have any idea what emerge would be?
Become obvious or visible.
Yeah, to emerge. So, for example, if you emerge as somebody is doing something, I guess the best example would be somebody who has come out of the closet. They have lived an alternative lifestyle or a gay or lesbian lifestyle, and they have emerged. So they've become now they were doing it secretly, and now they no longer are. So
yeah, it has emerged from the shadows.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And Igor, could you choose one?
Choose one for me.
Yeah. Influence.
Influence, noun, effect.
Okay. Okay. And Aka.
Widespread, maybe.
Okay.
What?
So widespread would be
common or widely extended.
Common or widely extended. Yes. Okay, and Anatoly.
Phenomenon.
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 Mm-hmm.
Array or significant fact or event.
Okay. And Andre. To incorporate or cross-cultural.
Incorporate, crossing, or dealing with culture differences.
Actually, that would be cross-cultural.
Oh.
You're on vacation today. Don't worry. So,
Okay.
we'll forgive you. You're not. You usually get things right. So, and then to incorporate then would be to include, blend, or merge with. So, all right. Okay. So let's talk about some of these words. Let's practice using them. Are people in Russia worried that the Ebola virus will become widespread in Russia or in Japan? Are the people worried that the Ebola virus will become widespread?
Well,
it will become a widespread disease.
I'm not worried. Well, I can tell for others. I don't know.
Okay, you're not worried. Okay. Aka, how about in Japan? Are people worried, or is the media all up in arms, or is that just an American thing?
Yeah, last week, Ebola suspect kind of patient was found in the airport, so media, reported sensationally.
Okay, in Japan. So are people all worried now?
I don't know. It's up to the people because.
But you haven't heard any. In the States, there is a widespread panic by
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe President Obama made a comment about that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, what did I say? Window panic.
Yeah. Maybe he against to treat kind of, how can I say, the doctor who came back to the country, targeted country, and people pressure on the, how can I say, they separate from other people for 1 month or so. But Obama against about that first because there's no medical proof for doing such treatment.
Yeah, yeah. And there are people now that are in quarantine because they had seen somebody that was infected, and it's kind of silly because there's no reason for them to be in quarantine. But in Russia, Anatoly, are people in Moscow area at all worried about it?
I think less than when I saw as Obama spoke about this, the main problem of humanity for nowadays. I think it is not so widely spread panic in my Russia. Maybe a little less or more, but no panic, I think.
Okay. Are there any phenomenons in Andre? Are there any phenomenons in your part of Russia that that people are talking about?
No. I don't think there is any phenomenon.
Okay. And now, Igor.
I can say about one phenomenon. Maybe it is kind of phenomenon. My friend who is an English teacher, she has a student who is 11 years old, and she speaks English better than ever child she met.
Oh, really? An 11-year-old child?
Yes.
And has that child been exposed to English most of his or her life?
About 3 years. The child was involved in English and other things.
Yeah. On Monday mornings, I teach 2 8-year-old girls, and from Spain, and it's kind of interesting. So, because they're 8, so they're just learning English, but.
On the other, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I asked, do you teach them on Dublin?
No, I've got several different places I'm teaching from. So, but no, not on Verbling. But yeah, okay, Igor.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a question to use one of these words. How are you able to incorporate language training with your job? Or are you able to?
Well, it's quite easy, actually, because all of our clients, they're usually not from Russia, so we have to use this English as a lingua franca there. So I use my English a lot at work, and when I just have spare time, I can come here on Verbling and practice my English here with you, with native speakers, and see what level my English has reached.
Have you found that your English has gotten better by coming onto Verbling and practicing, or has it gotten worse, or?
I don't know. I can't really assess here. It's like if there is any kind of improvement, I don't feel
it. One thing about the language, you get to a certain level, it's called a plateau. You're improving, and then you get to this plateau that's really flat, and you're like, am I ever improving? The plateau is going up, but you're not feeling it, you're not seeing it. So, okay.
Well, I think the most challenging thing right now for me is acquiring a good enough vocabulary so I can match up with the native speakers.
Yeah. I can understand that, but it probably, I wonder, Igor, do you run into a situation where you'll use a word and the native speaker will have never heard of that word before?
Yes.
And what do you think of that?
I don't know. Maybe I just picked up a wrong word. I just remember I was talking about a refreshing thing, and I said that their wind was bracing, and she went like, "What? What do you mean bracing?"
But the thing is, the English language is so huge that we as native speakers are actually are still learning words all the time and learning how to use them and everything.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So I had a student when my very first year of teaching. She came up to me and she had pulled a word out of context, and she'd pulled it out of a magazine, and she wanted to know what the word meant. And I knew the word, but I didn't know what it had several meanings, so I didn't know what she was trying to ask. And so I told her that she needed to bring it back and bring the whole article, or at least the paragraph. And she was like, "Well, you should know this." And I'm like, "Why would I know this?" But you know, her thought was, well, you're a native speaker, you should know every single word in your language. So
that's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I've told people this in the past, and people are like, "Really, Holly?" In the U.S., all the way through to the final year of high school, every week students are getting vocabulary tests.
I see. Have you ever heard of a site that evaluates your the size of your vocabulary? Of course, it's not accurate, but it's there, and it says that an average English speaker knows about 30,000 English words.
Mm-hmm. But they only use about 500 of them.
No, that's not true.
That's what I've heard.
And I passed this test, and it said my vocabulary set was estimated to be 17,000 words.
Well, that's good. That's really good.
Well, I don't believe it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're like, what? Okay, so Anatoly, we're going to practice one more word. What kind of influence do you think that the English language has had on your culture?
As example, yes. As example, I can say that we use internet slang as a common language with English native speakers.
Yeah, internet slang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's all around the world. It's all the same. So we're becoming closer thanks to the internet. Yay! So okay, let's go ahead and read through this article, and we don't even need to add any words. Yay! So Andre, could you read the first paragraph, and Anatoly the second, and Igor the third, and Aka the fourth?
Sorry, can you scroll up? Okay. English has become the lingua franca for international communication, used on a daily basis by hundreds of millions of people. English is now the world's most widely understood language. However, as English changes, the world is also changing English and changing our ideas about the language.
Okay, thank you. Next person.
Like most other languages, the language that became English developed under the influence of many others. mainly a mixture of Anglo-Saxon, German, French, and Latin. English has always incorporated words and phrases from different countries and cultures.
Thank you.
As British influence spread throughout the world, the use of English also spread, which led to large groups of people outside England using English to communicate, with different nations and cultures using English in slightly different ways. Different varieties of English began to emerge.
Okay. Okay.
English continued to spread fairly slowly until the late 20th century. At this time, huge number of people became exposed to English, mainly by way of the U.S. media. English language television, music, movie, and advertising were seen by millions of people for the first time. Transportation and communications technology developed, and international business became more widespread. At this time, English suited the needs of the people who needed a common language to exchange information and ideas.
Banking, IT, scientific, research, sports, and the media. The use of English is now common in many different industries, both public and private. The official language of the United Nations is English, indicating that the language now has an important role in international law, security, and peacekeeping. With more and more non-native speakers using English every day, English continues to change. Research shows that there are 400 million native English speakers in the world, but that nearly 2 million people speak English. Most English speakers are not native speakers, but are people who use English to achieve their goals. These people are changing English, which is evolving as a global phenomenon. It is wrong to think of English as a language that belongs to any particular country. Instead, it's for international and cross-cultural communication. So whose language is it anyway? It's ours. So do you guys agree with that? With this last...
As a non-native speaker, I agree with that. But I'm not sure. Maybe some native speakers might feel good about this phenomenon.
Some native speakers would not agree.
Maybe, but they have to agree because now non-native speaker could be a majority, maybe. So
yeah, exactly.
They are influenced with actual English nowadays.
Exactly, and a lot of people are actually using the term world English now. Okay, so
and I've heard globalish for this.
Have you heard global? Because you had written globalish. I've never heard globalish before.
I read a paper about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So English, they're calling it globalish.
Yeah, kind of such kind of English. So, non-native speaker now changing the English. So such kind.
Do you guys
think?
Yeah. Do you think it's possible that another language could overtake English as the world or the international language?
I don't know. Maybe one day, but right now I don't see any signs of this.
Okay. So maybe one day. What do you think, Aka? What do you think?
Not now. I'm not sure the future, but now English is have already been established state a kind of position of the global communication language. So
yeah,
it's difficult to change now.
Yeah, when I was teaching in Korea, it was I taught for 1996, so that was 20 years ago, and I found it really interesting that I would say or month, at least monthly basis, I would hear somebody say to me, "Well, South planning on conquering the world, and one day Korean will be the world language." So, any response to that? Is it possible? Or Russian. Russian, I think, has a bigger chance than Korean.
I heard that the Japanese is becoming popular in Russia. Many people started learning this language to do business with China.
And Japanese or Chinese?
Chinese.
Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese. What did I say? Japanese?
Yeah, you said Japanese. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Chinese. Chinese.
Yeah.
But I think in every country people can say, "Oh, one day we will conquer the world and our language will be spread."
So I don't have to learn English anymore.
Behind the language spread, political power and economic power was used in the past. I'm not sure in the future, but the reason why English was spread because such political economic power. Because,
yeah.
England, America,
there are some naive Americans. Do you guys know what I mean by naive?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. There are some naive Americans who are scared of Japanese and Chinese because especially the Japanese have bought so many companies in the U.S. and so they think that they're going to take over our country.
It happened in the 1980s, so it stopped now.
It stopped, I know, but back in the 80s, the Japanese are going to take over our country so, through the economy.
The thing might happen in Japan if that happens, actually. Yeah.
It could. Yeah. It could happen. So, okay, let's change these sentences using the vocabulary from the first exercise that we did. Okay, so number 1, Anatoly, could you do this? English is the what used for air traffic control?
English is the common language used for air traffic control. English is a lingua franca language.
Yeah.
Used for air traffic control.
So it's the lingua franca. Yes. Okay. Number 2. Igor, could you do that one?
Old English is very difficult to understand. Anglo-Saxon is very difficult to understand.
Yes. Okay, and Andre, could you do the next one?
Scientists are studying the effect of television on children. Phenomenon. The scientists are studying the phenomenon.
No.
Influence.
Yeah. Okay. And Aka.
Okay. When you make a cake, you need to make sure that all the ingredients are blended, incorporated.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I prefer blended better than incorporated in this one. When you're talking about cake baking.
Integrated.
Yeah. Integrated or incorporated. That sounds strange to me. Incorporated has more to do with like more of a business type situation than cooking. So, Anatoly, number 5.
Big problem became obvious at the company. Big problems became emergent. Emergers. We used as a verb.
Actually, you would say big problems emerged at the company.
Emerged. Okay.
Okay. And number 6, Andre.
The use of cell phones is common in many countries. Widespread.
Okay, widespread, yes. Are there? Do you guys know of any countries where the use of cell phones is not widespread?
North
Maybe
Korea.
South Korea.
I thought North Korea.
North?
Yeah, North. South is very commercialized society. South Korea is, yeah.
I kind of mix them up. Are you there, teacher?
What?
Are you there?
Are you there? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Even the Amish are using cell phones now. Do you guys know who the Amish are?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're using cell phones now.
I don't know.
You don't know who they are, Igor?
Yeah.
Okay. Amish are they're fairly religious Americans who have separated themselves out, and they don't use electricity, and they still have a very, very old-fashioned lifestyle. They don't use cars. They use horse and buggies.
So they're sectons.
What?
Sectons.
Sectum?
What's the right pronunciation?
Sectum. A sect. Well, some people would consider them a sect. It's SECT, but this is basically how they live. They have. This is basically what they drive, and but it's kind of an interesting. They're out of Pennsylvania mostly in this part of the U.S. But so they
kind of anomaly that affects human brains or something like that.
I don't know. But they're starting to use cell phones, and I found that very interesting because they still don't drive. So, all right, number 7, Aka, could you do that one?
Okay, the first growth of the internet is a rare event. I think it's a phenomenon. Phenomenon?
Yes, phenomenon. Yes. Okay, and then Igor, number 8.
Learning about communication between different cultures is very interesting. Learning about cross-cultural communication is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. You can say learning about, or you can also say learning cross-cultural differences is very interesting. So either one of them.
Yeah.
Do you guys find that if cross-cultural differences are interesting, or what do you guys think?
I try to focus on the similarity, not the difference.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of emotion and feeling are same among humans.
Okay, so you like to look at the similarities and not the differences. And I find looking at the differences fascinating. So. Okay, let's look at questions related to the text. Andre, could you choose a question on either questions related to the text or other questions? And we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was our plan for today. If you guys want to continue talking about languages, the next class is a little bit easier text, and it's the topic is learning languages. So. Otherwise, have a great day. And I guess you guys are into your afternoon. So thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope you learned something. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you next class.
Thank you very much.
Bye.